What's going on, everybody? It's David Palmer, the Leo King, and this is my show, Uncut Astrology, where I take off the mask and go deep behind the veil and give you this week's astrological forecast for the week of May the 4th through the 10th of 2016. Hope you're on my app. If you want to watch videos every day of my horoscopes, go to the leokingapp.com or go to the iTunes App Store, or you can go to the Google Play Store on your Android device. And I have my big webinar, 5 Planets Retrograde, this rare event that's happening. You can download that at inclusiveastrology.com. Now, we have a lot to talk about this week, but this week is a very dynamic week. It's very unique because this is the last week of the 5 Planets Retrograde we've been talking about. And so I'm just going to be very open and free with everybody. 5 Planets Retrograde isn't always the easiest. It does bring lots of great things, though, at the same time. So it's kind of a weird polarization moment in our lives. I just want to say that before we even go into the astrology. Here we are receiving all these things, but as you receive them, you can't move forward. It's almost like a kid at Christmas who gets the gift but can't open the freaking gift yet. And it's like, weird situations always come up where it's like, oh, this looks like it's going to be wonderful. But then there's always that thing that's like, oh, but there's something in the way of it, man. how do I going to make this work? So I think it's going to be really nice when we come out of this week. We're going to get out of the 5 Planets Retrograde deal. Plus, by the end of this week, Jupiter goes direct. Now, that's going to be one of the main aspects that we're going to be talking about this week. There's also a new moon happening this week. So there's actually a lot of great things. I'm going to be honest, I think that this is a great week, but I just wanted to say at the beginning, that weird polarization of 5 Planets Retrograde, great things coming in, but weird frustration at the same time, it just kind of builds for a weird energy. Now, Sun trines Jupiter this week, right? This is always a really hurrah moment, really seeing the future, seeing that there are lots of positive doors open. And this is happening in earth signs, right? The sun's in Taurus. We got Venus in its natural sign of Taurus. We got Jupiter in Virgo. There's a lot of this earth energy going around. Plus, Pluto's in Capricorn. So it's making this really powerful grand trine with Jupiter involved and Pluto. Both planets, right? It's the biggest planet, the smallest planet. Like, it's kind of funny, right? It's like the sun's hovering around this big positive transformational aspect in our life. But, the planets are retrograde, 5 of them. And so I think that there's this, like, you see that it's all there, but there's some part of your soul that feels like it either it's not connecting with it, even though it is in a weird way. I can't describe it any better. It's almost like, I'm going to use a really good example. I've been re-gluing my crown back onto my tooth, and then it keeps falling off. So it's like, yeah, it's back on, and it comes off. So it's like, here we are kind of like connecting, but disconnecting from great things in our life, and knowing that it's always there, though. And that's what's kind of weird, because 5 Planets Retrograde, I said this in a live Facebook feed, almost another way to feel like it is like, in this reality, when all the planets are forward, it's like all the energy's here, but the other side, it might feel like it's dead over there. Now it's like the other side is popping, the spiritual world's popping, and the reality's kind of at a weird little slowdown moment here. And so we could kind of feel in between worlds, you almost feel like you might be even more in your dream world right now, or more in your like 4th or 5th dimensional world right now than in reality, which kind of can make you feel like when you're in reality, like you're not here. That has nothing to do with Sun trine Jupiter, but it has a lot to do with the energy overall. Now, this new moon in Taurus, I think, is wonderful. Of course, it's happening with the 5 planets retrograde, so that's why it's like a new moon in Taurus brings up this whole new perspective of your self-worth, what you're manifesting, and what are you creating in your life? What are you using your money with? This is Mercury retrograde in Taurus, you got to remember. So you're rethinking how you use your money, where your money's going, how you're building things, what are you going to create? There's lots of options on the table with Sun trine Jupiter. There's lots of deep inner wants and desires with Sun trine Pluto this week in Capricorn. So I'm going to be honest, this is bringing out, and I'm going to use this word, but I don't believe that it's a good word, but it's bringing out our inner greed. What do we really want? I've used the whole term like my precious. It's like we all are looking for my precious in the middle of us feeling kind of in this weird, paradoxical, confusing world. And what is it that we really want? And it's almost like we're really willing to do whatever to go get it, So I think that this is kind of a weird moment because we're all ready to go get whatever it is the hell we want. We really are fixated, I think, on what we want. But this is a weird time because by the weekend there's a mutable cross. The moon's going to be in Gemini. It's going to square Jupiter. That's going to be coming out of its retrograde. It's going to be squaring over to Neptune, Chiron. It's going to be opposing Mars retrograde and Saturn in Sagittarius. So I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on the weekend, believe it or not. It also can bring a lot of stimulation, right? Because there's so much happening. But there's kind of this circus show going on before Jupiter goes direct on the 9th and into the 10th. And I'm going to be very honest with everybody, like, be prepared. This is like really great things happening while a circus is going on, while you feel in between worlds, and while we're all waiting for Jupiter to come back online. Because when Jupiter stops and goes retrograde, especially as it's squaring Saturn, it's opposing Neptune, this is not the normal kind of like hoorah moment that we're waiting for. It's almost like we're having to push through barriers and we're having to get through lots of confusion for the hurrah to turn on. So I'm going to be honest, because as Jupiter is about to come direct this week, there's this moment in our life where we're ready to expand, we're ready to finally get some relief from the universe, but there's a block in the way and there's confusion. And so this isn't, gosh, it's just, I'm going to be honest, this is the week of where you want to talk about weird and all over the place and confusing, but great. This is it. Welcome to it. Great things can come in the middle of crazy paradigm weird aspects. And there is a little bit of a circus show aspect to this week, but it's all supported and grounded. So I think you need to realize that no matter what's going on, everything's grounded. No matter what's going on, everything is supported. And no matter what's going on, the universe is trying to push you through really powerful and extreme new doors. And I think that you have really seen better ways to kind of get your life in the way that you want to. You've rehashed since Jupiter went retrograde in January. I think that you've spent since the beginning of the year really kind of like rehashing what you want to do with your life, what's the kind of life you want, and you're ready to go build it. And this is a week where it shows you can build anything, you could have anything, you can go anywhere. But it's a circus show in the middle of it, you know? It's almost like feeling like you don't have enough time, or you're overly, pushed, or, like if you really want to do it, there's a lot to do it, but you can do it. And I think that's the big realization, is that there are unlimited possibilities right now, especially in the physical manifestation world. And we're all kind of at a place where it's like happening, but we kind of feel like we're behind the veil in it, which is kind of weird. It's almost like we just can't fully embrace it fully, because I think that there's this really high spiritual, aspect that's overclouding everything. I can't describe it any better. I don't know how else to really put this for everybody. And I think the signal of this new moon, which is going to be on Friday, and then we come into the craziness of the weekend with the mutable cross. I think it's like, here's the new reality you're creating. Here's the things that you're really realizing in your life are much better. Venus also is making some really good aspects. It's going to be getting ready to sextile Neptune. It's really good energy. Venus is getting ready to trine over to Jupiter as well. So there's a lot of with relationship doors opening up, but there is just this weird, I'm unsure of exactly what's going on. And that's Jupiter opposed Neptune. That's Jupiter square Saturn as it's turning on. We are unable to figure out everything that's going on because there is so much to look at. There is so much confusion. There is so much that we are unsure of, and we're searching for the answers this week while all these great things are happening. And it's like, that can be the paradox of it all. Here's the treasure, but you're so overwhelmed, disconnected, overbooked, over analytically trying to figure it all out, that it's kind of hard to just enjoy the treasure. And how ironic that you finally get the treasure and you can't have it. It's almost like, you wait your whole life to get someplace and you finally get there and you're at this weird kind of energetic place where it's not what you thought it was going to feel like when you get there. And I think that there's going to be a lot to search for in your feelings, because by the time we come out of this week and when Jupiter does come direct, the moon will be in Cancer, which I think is going to kind of signify that this is going to be a very emotional moment for us as we exit the week of us finally kind of coming out of a really weird, paradoxical couple weeks where things that happened were so karmic and fated, and we might wake up and realize we weren't even here during this period. We were somewhere else. And it's almost like we're all coming back as Jupiter comes direct, and then by May 22nd, Mercury comes out of its retrograde, and there'll be kind of a moment where it's like, what was that? And I think you're gonna start to feel that we're right in the middle of it right now. Can't put that any better. It's gonna be a great week though. I'm gonna do an awesome special on the new moon in Taurus, of course, with my spiritual dance music on Friday. So make sure you check on my Facebook or on all my social media to get access for the timing on what time that is going to be. So I want to say thank you to everybody for all the support, for joining me on the app, for subscribing to me here on YouTube and following me on Facebook. Or if you want to follow me on Snapchat more about what I'm doing in my real life and stuff, that's DJ David Palmer. A lot of people have been asking me for my Snapchat. I like to keep my Snapchat updated and I do some crazy stuff. But hope that this helped you. Really, I can't describe this week any better. Thanks so much. Hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you on the next Uncut. Thanks.